Dumpster fire, children. How is everyone doing this morning? I hope that your day is off to a wonderful, fantastic start. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Carrington. Even if you are not new here, you've been here a time or two, but you have not yet hit that subscribe button, I absolutely invite you to do so. Don't forget to click the little bell so you can be notified of all my future uploads. And let's go ahead and let's dive on into today's video, which is we're going to be unboxing and testing out the Unearthly Cosmetics Mystery Valentines box. I do not know what is inside of this. I have not opened this either. I am so very excited. I got the Halloween one. That was fantastic. You got like a highlighter palette, 3 different liquid lip options, 3 quad eyeshadow palettes. So I'm wondering what this is going to be like. I will say they did say that this retails for like $119, $120. You purchased it for $100. I did use a code, so I got it knocked down a little bit cheaper, like $10, $10 off. So I got it for like $91. And it's valued for like $119. So, however, I can hear some of you guys being like, well, that doesn't sound like that's a very good value. You pay $100, you only get $19 more worth of free product. These are products that have never ever been released, and I don't think they're ever going to release them because with the Halloween mystery box that they did, they still have not released any of those products that were inside that box. So if you got that box, you have exclusive items. That's what this is as well. I'm really shocked it got here as quickly as it did because it did say on the website it was going to ship in February, but here we are in January. It's the middle of January. You will see this in about a week. It's middle of January and I got it. So I was very, very impressed with the ship time on this. So if you guys are excited to see as much as I am, what is inside this box, what I think, what I recommend their mystery box, then definitely keep on watching. So first and foremost, we need to unbox this. So it came in a bubble mailer, a red bubble mailer, just a plain red bubble mailer, and this was inside of it. Right? I did not open it, but I didn't want to keep it in the red bubble mailer. I just wanted to be able to recycle it right then and there where I pick it up. I pick it up for one of my part-time jobs. I got all my packages sent there. So I just went and picked it up and recycled the bubble mailer because we'll use that again. And it doesn't have my address. I don't have to worry about that. So when you open it up, all right, so we've got some black, these are perfect for color switching your brushes, by the way. And, all right, oh, okay. All right, so this is what we've got on the inside. So what do we have? Well, let's go ahead and let's just start diving on in, doing some swatches, playing. So the first thing that I see right here is the Surrender Eyeshadow Impressed Pigment Palette. So just so you know, the ones that are pressed pigments, they say are for cheeks only, don't use around the eyes. I still do, but if you suffer with irritation, don't feel comfortable using them around your eyes, absolutely don't. The cover artwork on the box is the same on the palette. Even the back is the same. So if you want to get rid of your box, you don't have to keep it for anything special. Go right on ahead. Okay, so this is very Valentine's themed kind of a palette, right? So we've got some like purpley, pinks, reds. We do have some neutrals, and we've got some really pretty shimmer shades. So let's go ahead. Let's dive on into some swatches. So first off, we have the shade, this is Seductive. So this is just like a really pretty gold bronze with like a pink shift to it, as you can tell. Next up, this is going to be Bustier. And this is, okay, this one didn't swatch that great. Let's try this again. This is like a very dark neutral type brown. Then we have the shade Mesmerizing. This is like a purple with some pink to it. It's definitely like a little bit more of like a topperish type shade. Next up, we have the shade Surrender. So this is a red. It's more of a pinky type of red, pinky orangish. It's really hard to make like a true actual red. So this is pretty, it's nice. Next up is going to be the shade Radiant. This is definitely a topperish type of shade. It's kind of like a white, and it's got like some very just like lavender-ish almost kind of shift to it. Next up is Chemise. So this is a pink, like a pastel pink, bubblegum type pink. This does have some glitter in it. It's just like some pink glitter. Next up is the shade Corset. So this is kind of a mustardy light type of brown. Then we have the shade called, let's see, Captivating, which is a bronze with a pinky purple kind of greenish olive shift. Then we have the shade Sensual right here, which is a really pretty burgundy. We then have the shade Intoxicating. This one didn't really swatch the best. There we go. So it's kind of a strawberry berry with like some purpley type shifts to it. Then we have Generous right here, which is kind of like a mid-tone type pink, almost kind of like a salmon color. And then last up is Alluring, and this has some pink, some purple, some gold, some green type of shift to it, and that again is a very topperish shade. So those are all the shades that are in the eyeshadow palette that they have come out with. Next up, it looks like we have a glowing blush palette. So in the last one that came out, it was with highlighters. This time this is a glowing blush palette, so I'm not sure exactly what that means. Oh, now I know what it means. Okay, now I know what it means. These kind of remind me, just like on first impressions, kind of like the Adept face trios that they came out with as well, that had primarily glowing blushes or bronzers or highlights in there. So let's go ahead and let's take some swatches of this. So the first one is going to be the shade right here. This is Passionate. So it's like a very cute, like a very light kind of rosy pink. Next up we have Romantic. This is definitely more of like a neon bubblegum type pink to it. And then last is going to be the shade Luscious. Luscious. I don't know. Okay, clearly something wrong with me. And this is kind of like a little bit more of like an orangish pinkish type of shade. So that's what we've got for the glowing blush palette. And it doesn't, I mean, you can definitely tell it has glitter. It's glittery, but I don't know how well it's gonna do on the cheeks in terms of like glitter emphasizing. And then last up that we have here, we have 3 satin liquid lipsticks. Very cute packaging, I must say. They do a great job with packaging. So first up, look at that. That's so cute. It's like a little freaking snow globe on your lipstick. All right, so we have this shade right here. This first one is going to be called Dreamy. Okay. Okay, so this is just kind of like a very brown nude type of shade. You can't tell if it has a scent. If it does, it's not a powerful one. All right, so then we have this one right here. This is called Flirt. Okay. And this is a very pretty berry, which we all know. I am a berry person. Berries and cream, berries and cream. And then the last one is Delight. This looks very similar to the first one that we swatched, which was Dreamy, but let's see how different they are. Okay, yeah, they're different. They're different. In the tube, it doesn't really look super different. Right, like this is what they look like together. Very, very close to similar, but on here, this is definitely more of like a chocolate brown. This is definitely more nude, and then we have like a very berry. So that is everything that came in the box. So let's go ahead and let's start diving on into a look. Okay, I was kind of wanting to do something maybe a little bit more nude, just because I do have like a nude outfit on. But I kind of like this, like, these pinks a little bit. Okay, you know what? Let's try pink. Let's try pink. So I'm gonna start off with the shade right here, Chemise. Has quite a bit of kick up in the pan. And again, this is a shade that does have glitter in it, so I wonder how well. Hold on, let me zoom you in. So I do just kind of like pick it up, dap it in, and you know, it does have a little bit of fallout, kick up in the pan. Not really experiencing any of it on my face thus far. And it is a really light pink, which I kind of expected that based on the swatch. So I'm just going to take some, and I'm just going to start stamping it in, and then just kind of it out. So then I'm going to go into the shade. Let's try Generous. The shade right here. I'm just going to keep that on the same brush, because listen, the least amount of brushes I have to use, the better. Okay, so it is a little bit deeper. I don't necessarily know that I love it. for like just like the crease. So I think I'm going to put this as part of the transition as well. Kind of just like add some more depth to the transition area. I think that'll be good. Let's go into the shade right here called Sensual. We're going to do this. This is what we're going to do. Okay. I'm going to start stamping this onto my outer corner. Okay. Like that's like the very first step. Even though this is a dense packing brush, with this shade I'm kind of just like experiencing some issue getting like the pigment to really show up. Even though I'm really getting some on the brush and really packing it on there. So, interesting. But anyways, I'm going to start there. And then I'm just going to take it, the rest of this, and just kind of focus that in like my crease area. And slightly above because I have hooded eyes. Okay, I can only work with so much. Alright, I'm going to stick with that same brush. And I'm going to go into the shade right here called Bustier. And this I want to tap just on the outer corner on top of like that shade Sensual, just to give it a little bit more of like a pinky brown to it. But I want this to just really be like the focus of like the outer corner. I'll bring just a little bit over, not a lot. Okay, let's start with this shade right here called Intoxicating. And we'll just focus that on like the center outer portion of my, okay. I did not, even with the glitter glue, this is not really adhering to the eyelid super well, which is odd because this is not usually a problem that I have with Unearthly's formula. So I'm not sure if it's just like this shade in particular. I hope it's not like the whole palette, because that would be really disappointing. Okay, then on top of that, I'm going to take the shade right here called Alluring. Because again, it's just more like a topperish shade. I just kind of want to put that like on top. And then I'm going to take the shade right here called Mesmerizing. And that right there is going to be like the inner portion of my lid. So now let's move on into the lower lash line. I kind of want to mix it up just a little bit. So I want to start off with this shade right here called Corset, just because I want to use as many colors as possible. This may be a good idea. This may be a bad idea. I don't quite know yet. And again, we're just going to work on smoking that out. And then we'll just take that Bustier shade. Just kind of focus that along. Alright, so then for the inner corner, I guess let's take this shade right here called Alluring. Pick that up as much as I can. And so. Okay. That looks pretty good. So now I want to move on into this like blush palette. What are we thinking? I really think this might be a really good option. Maybe. So I'm just going to take, that's the shade Passionate. I'm just going to take some on my blush brush. I'm going to start towards the back, kind of stipple it on and around, bring it up to just the very, not quite to the apples. Ooh, okay. So, this is very, very glowy, which I don't know if we should expect anything else, because literally this says glowing blush palette. This is a very pretty color. Maybe try to like blush drape a little bit, if you'd like. Just like so. So now we're going to move on into one of the final steps of the makeup look, which is going to be putting on a lip. I really think this is going to be really pretty and match, and this is in the shade Flirt. So this is their satin lipstick formula. It's a very cute curved little doe foot. So here's the completed and final look, testing out the new Unearthly Cosmetics Valentine's mystery box. This was quite an exciting box. So let's go ahead, let's dive on into my final thoughts on the products in here. So first and foremost, that's like in last place for what I like the least to the most, are these satin liquid lipsticks. It feels very drying on the lips, like to the point where I'm kind of like, I would really appreciate a gloss on top or something to help make this not so matte like. And the weird part is that it's like a satin. They did have matte ones, and I even had said that those were kind of a little bit uncomfortable as well. But then they had these satin ones, which were supposed to be more comfortable than the matte ones, and I'm just not finding them to be as comfortable, any more comfortable than like the matte ones. I really feel like I want to put like a gloss on this. Next up is going to be this eyeshadow palette. I think this is a very, very beautiful eyeshadow palette. We did a little bit more of like a pinky look, but you do have some neutral options. You could go a little bit more red. Whatever the case may be, I think this is a really pretty palette. I really like their formula. I did struggle a little bit with this shimmer shade right here. I'm not really for sure what it was, like trying to get onto my lid, but I was really struggling with that shade. I didn't have any issue with the other shades. It was just that shade, Intoxicating, and then again there's some shades that I didn't like try in here, so I don't know how those are going to compare, but that's kind of odd for the Unearthly formula. Usually their formula is really good, so it may just be like a one-off shade. It may be the color and maybe the formulation they needed to make for that shade. Not 100% for sure, but I do think that it's very a very pretty palette. And I'm really impressed with this cheek trio. I don't feel like it's too overpowering of a color. I think it's really pretty, and I don't think it's just like so glowy that it's a little bit too much. I think it does provide like a really nice lit from within glow. I would say in comparison to like the Adept, I feel like the Adept is definitely more strongly with like the shimmer, the glitters, and definitely has a lot more of a punch to it. I'm not really finding that with this. I find that this is just very nice, very light, very lit from within type of glow, not overpowering. I did have to build it up, so I really appreciate that more than the Adept, just because shimmery blushes aren't something I really dabble into. This shimmery of a blush, I should say, is not something I dabble into a whole lot. But that is all the contents of the box. I honestly was really impressed. I love when they do a mystery box, where they just like create new products specifically for it. They come out with some really awesome products. I was really happy, you know, with the Halloween one. I'm really impressed with this one as well. I think I like this one more. I think I like the lip color options a little bit more. I like that it's a glowy blush palette. The other ones were highlighters, and you could get one that was a little bit too deep or just like a off color or whatever the case may be. That's really good for this, like a glowy blush. And then I do like the eyeshadow palette. I feel like those are a lot of the tones and shades that I will use, and I like the formula. And that one shade was just a little off, but that was just one shade. Alright, so that is it for today's video. I hope that you all enjoyed. Let me know if you guys are thinking about picking up. I think this is still available. If so, I'll link it down below. Let me know if you guys have picked this up, if you guys are thinking about it. Let me know all that down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you guys definitely give this video a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed or clicked the bell, I invite you to do so. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!